Have you ever wondered about the history of one of Africa's smallest countries, Equatorial Guinea? Nestled on the west coast of Central Africa, this petite nation holds a rich tapestry of stories, waiting to be unveiled. The origins of Equatorial Guinea are rooted deep into the pre-colonial era, a time when the land was a vast, unexplored expanse. Indigenous tribes such as the Bubi, Fang, and Anabon were the original inhabitants of this region. Their cultures, each unique yet intertwined, painted a vibrant mosaic of traditions that still echo in today's Equatorial Guinea. The Bubi, primarily residing on the island of Bioko, were known for their seafaring skills and intricate artistry. The Fang, spreading across the mainland in Gabon, were admired for their warrior spirit and exceptional craftsmanship. The Anabon, on the secluded island of Anabon, developed a distinct culture, influenced by their isolation and the bountiful sea. These tribes lived in harmony with nature, their lives entwined with the land's diverse ecosystem. The lush rainforests, teeming with wildlife, provided not just sustenance, but also spiritual enrichment. From the drill monkey to the forest elephant, the tribes revered these creatures, their existence woven into tribal folklore and rituals. Amid the daily hum of tribal life, these communities forged their identities, their stories etched into the annals of Equatorial Guinea's history. Their tongues spoke languages that danced in the wind, their hands crafted artifacts that stood the test of time, and their hearts held beliefs that shaped their world. However, the tranquility of the pre-colonial era was not destined to last. The winds of change were stirring in the west, carrying with them the sails of European explorers. As the 15th century dawned, the Portuguese arrived, followed by the Spanish, forever altering the course of Equatorial Guinea's history. And so, as we turn the pages of time, we find ourselves at the cusp of a new era, an era marked by colonial domination, cultural exchange, and the struggle for identity, an era that continues to shape Equatorial Guinea and its people. As we delve deeper into the past, the Spanish Colonial Era awaits to unfold its tales. Stepping into the 15th century, Equatorial Guinea welcomes the Spanish conquistadors. The Spanish colonization of Equatorial Guinea was a transformative period in the country's history, a time when the indigenous tribes of the region were introduced to new cultures, religions, and technologies, forever altering the course of their societies. The Spanish first arrived on the shores of Equatorial Guinea in the late 15th century, drawn by tales of abundant natural resources and the potential for expanding their burgeoning empire. The Spanish colonial era was one of dramatic change for the indigenous tribes, who found their traditional ways of life disrupted by the arrival of these foreign settlers. The Spanish brought with them their language, their Catholic faith, and their social and political structures, all of which had a profound impact on the local cultures. The indigenous tribes were often forced to adapt to these new ways of life, leading to a blending of cultures that is still evident in Equatorial Guinea today. In addition to cultural changes, the Spanish colonial era also brought significant development to the region. The Spanish established the city of Santa Isabel, now known as Malabo, as the capital of their new colony. They also developed the country's infrastructure, building roads, schools, and churches, and introduced new crops such as cocoa and coffee, which became important cash crops for the colony. However, the Spanish colonial era was also a time of conflict and struggle. The indigenous tribes often resisted the Spanish rule, leading to a series of rebellions and conflicts throughout the colonial period. The Spanish also implemented harsh policies, including forced labor and land confiscation, which caused great hardship for the local population. In the late 19th century, the Spanish began to lose control over their colony, and by the mid-20th century, the push for independence was in full swing. Despite the many challenges, the people of Equatorial Guinea persevered, and in 1968, they finally achieved their long-awaited independence. The Spanish reign ended, but it left an indelible mark on the culture and history of Equatorial Guinea. The winds of change were blowing across Africa. Equatorial Guinea, too, yearned for freedom. As the mid-20th century dawned, Equatorial Guinea found itself under the heavy yoke of Spanish colonial rule. The desire for independence, however, was beginning to stir in the hearts of the people. They longed to shape their own destiny, to free themselves from the chains of colonialism, and to build a nation that reflected their unique culture, heritage, and aspirations. One key figure in this liberation movement was Atanasio Ndongo Mione. A brave and charismatic leader, Mione was instrumental in galvanizing the spirit of nationalism among his people. He founded the Movement for the Self-Determination of Bioko Island, a political party that played a pivotal role in challenging Spanish rule and advocating for independence. Yet, the path to freedom was fraught with challenges. The colonial government responded to these calls for independence with a brutal crackdown. Many leaders of the liberation movement, including Mione himself, were imprisoned or exiled. Despite these setbacks, the flame for independence continued to burn brightly. Meanwhile, international pressure was mounting on Spain to decolonize. The United Nations, in particular, played a crucial role in advocating for the rights of the people of Equatorial Guinea. It was a lengthy and strenuous diplomatic battle, but the tireless efforts of the liberation movement leaders and the international community eventually bore fruit. On October 12, 1968, the dream of independence finally became a reality. Equatorial Guinea emerged as a free nation, the first Spanish-speaking country in Africa. The day was marked with joyous celebrations as the people reveled in their newfound freedom. However, with independence came new challenges. The country had to navigate the tricky waters of nation-building, political stability, and economic development. It had to wrestle with the legacy of colonialism while also forging a path towards a brighter future. Independence was won, but the journey towards a stable and progressive nation had just begun. With the dawn of independence, a new chapter began in the history of Equatorial Guinea. After gaining sovereignty in 1968, the nation embarked on a journey of self-governance and nation-building. But like many young nations, Equatorial Guinea faced a myriad of challenges. Political instability marked the early years of independence. The first president, Francisco Macias Nguema, ruled with an iron fist, leading a regime marked by human rights abuses and economic decline. His reign, however, came to an end in 1979 when his nephew, Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo, seized power in a coup. Obiang, who remains in power today, has brought a degree of stability, but his tenure has not been without controversy. Economically, Equatorial Guinea experienced a significant transformation with the discovery of vast oil reserves in the mid-90s. This oil boom propelled the nation from one of the poorest in the world to a middle-income country. However, the wealth has not been evenly distributed, and many Guineans still live in poverty. In recent years, Equatorial Guinea has been striving for progress and reform. The government has launched initiatives to diversify the economy, investing in infrastructure and promoting sectors such as tourism and agriculture. Nonetheless, challenges persist, including corruption, income inequality, and a need for improved governance. Culturally, the nation remains a vibrant tapestry of Bantu, Spanish, and Afro-Caribbean influences. From the bustling markets of Malabo to the traditional festivals of the Fang, Equatorial Guinea's cultural heritage is as rich as its biodiversity. Modern-day Equatorial Guinea is a study in contrasts. It's a nation grappling with its past while striving for a better future. It's a country blessed with natural resources, yet marked by economic disparity. But most importantly, it's a country of resilient people who carry a hopeful spirit. Today, Equatorial Guinea stands as a testament to its resilient spirit, rich heritage, and promising future. Equatorial Guinea's journey is one of resilience, transformation, and a persistent strive towards progress. This story begins with a past shrouded in mystery, a land rich with biodiversity and cultures that thrived before the advent of the Europeans. The indigenous Bantu tribes, with their vibrant traditions and practices, laid the foundations of Equatorial Guinea's rich cultural tapestry. The Spanish Colonial Era brought with it sweeping changes. Spanish influence seeped into the architecture, language, and societal norms. Malabo, the capital city, began to take shape with colonial buildings and landmarks that are still standing today. But this period was also marked by struggle and resistance, as the people of Equatorial Guinea yearned for freedom and self-determination. The struggle for independence was hard-fought and challenging. The people of Equatorial Guinea showed immense courage and resilience, ultimately leading to the birth of an independent nation in the year of 1968. This victory marked a new chapter in the country's history, a chapter of self-governance and the opportunity to shape their own destiny. In the post-independence era, Equatorial Guinea faced the daunting task of nation-building. Despite the challenges, the country has made significant strides towards progress. The vibrant city of Malabo, the rich biodiversity, the thriving cultural scene, and the burgeoning tourism industry are all testaments to the nation's efforts. The journey of Equatorial Guinea is also one of preservation and sustainability. From the conservation of its unique wildlife to the promotion of sustainable tourism, the country is making concerted efforts to protect its natural and cultural heritage. This commitment is reflected in the community-based initiatives and eco-friendly practices that are becoming increasingly prevalent. As we bid adieu, remember, the history of Equatorial Guinea is not just its past, but an ongoing story of its people, their struggles and triumphs, and their unwavering spirit. It's a testament to the resilience of a nation that has come a long way, yet continues to strive forward, writing new chapters in its remarkable journey.